Good morning everybody, it's Thursday the 14th of May today, and today we're going to walk the story of the sea swallow along the seafront at Cleveleys. So I've literally legged it down to the end of Victoria Road West. So we pick this story up here and we walk north in the direction of Fleetwood. So if I just zoom in, that's the Sea Swallow Memorial that you can see right in front of you at the left of Blackpool Tower with the hole cut in the middle of it. So that starts the Sea Swallow story. This is the Sea Swallow itself, and you can actually see this sculpture from the end of Victoria Road West when you're at Morrison's roundabout. And look at that for a blue sky. It's a beautiful day. There's still a little bit of a cold nip, but it's definitely perking up. It's definitely perking up, and there are plenty of people coming out to enjoy it. So we're going to walk that way, north towards Fleetwood. So come with me and we will go and see what we can see. Right, so let's start with the view, shall we? So obviously that's our beautiful beach. And that's the end of the Lake District. So the white building's on the end of the shipyards at Barrow. And then you're coming inland through the lakes. And I thought that was a ship then. I'm looking at it through the screen. And then you can just see the Russell coastal defences in white just at the side of that light post. So this scheme was finished in, I think it's about 10 years ago, so that would be about 2010, wouldn't it? And it's a new coastal defence scheme to protect all the houses and businesses at Cleveleys from the risk of flooding. So we've got this really nice step revetment down to the beach, which was actually made at Hill House Industrial Estate, the old ICI plant up at the banks of the River Wyre. The rest of it was cast on site. So the actual sea defences and revetment were paid for as the flood protection, and at the time there were various other funding pots available that Wyre Council applied to for what I always call the cherry on top. So these tall things, somebody asked the other day what they are. They're actually lighting columns. So at the top of them they've got twinkly little lights which light up at night and make it all look pretty. And then across the edge of the sea defence, can you see these little blue things? They're solar lights, and they mark the edge of the path so that people don't fall off if they're out at night. So you've got little wooden groins and rock at the end of them to hold the beach, and you can see that they've certainly done that because it's built up a long way. So the sea swallow that we've just looked at is part of the story of the Mythic Coast, and that was a children's storybook that initially was a children's storybook called The Sea Swallow, and that was published, now you're asking, I'm going to say about 7 years ago at a guess, and that was given to all of the primary school children in Wyre. And it's a story that picks up all of the myths and legends of this coastline. So just before we get any further, I'll just turn round. You might have seen about the Petrified Forest. So if that's the end of Victoria Road West where we've just been, the Petrified Forest is pretty much straight out round about there at low tide. And I know that people have seen the logs and the tree trunks there. So the story of the sea swallow picks up things like that. It picks up the myth surrounding the sunken village of Singleton Thorpe, and it interprets it in a series of public artworks along the promenade. So the next one that we're going to come up to is the Ogres Paddle. And then of course there's the Ogre himself and Mary's shell. Little dog enjoying his walk. So just while we're passing, if you saw one of our videos a few weeks ago, there's a mast there just next to where those people are, and that is actually one of the honeycomb worm reefs. I'll just zoom in and then you can see it. Can you see it? It's like a thick, it looks a bit like rock from here, but when you get near up to it, it's sort of peaty fibrous stuff, and that is the honeycomb worm reef. So we're just coming up to the paddle, and then you've got this lovely little slipway down to the beach that people can use for prams and pushchairs and things. So as you're walking along the promenade, this is, I don't know whether you can remember or not, but round about here was where the beach huts used to be, and where the gym is and the cinema is where the car park was that the coaches used to use. So the paddle, if you're looking for it when you're walking on the road, is in front of the gym. So I'll not bother going up the steps. We'll stop down here and then I can show it you from a distance, because it's not easy to photograph. Because it's long and slim, it's not easy to get all in a picture. So it's got, as you can see, it's a proper paddle for a very, very big boat. And on this side of it, there I don't know if they'll be able to see it because the sun's at the other side. There are engravings. There's a compass, some sea swallow birds and some seaweed around the side of the paddle. So you can sit on that and have your picture taken when you come back to Cleveleys after lockdown. So we're just walking now towards the Ogre. And these shelters, I don't know if you've ever realised, but these shelters are at the access points to the beach. So if you're out and about, you can sort of orientate yourself. So like at Fleetwood at the Russell Coastal Defence Scheme that we saw last week, the shelter lines up to the gate so that you can see where to get back out again. You won't believe that you could get such absolutely awful weather when you come out on a day like this. It's just so nice. So the Ogre is always the one that's difficult to spot. It's always the one that people say, where is it? And he's actually hiding at the back of that groin there. So we'll walk a little bit further and I'll show you where he is. And he blends in very well. He does get cleaned occasionally, but obviously because he lives underneath the sea 50% of the time, all the seaweed and algae grows on it. And let's say wears a coat of green most of the time. When he's being cleaned, you can find him quite easily. So the Mythic Coast story, the intention of it is that it goes all the way around the coastline from Cleveleys round to Fleetwood. So there are pieces of it on the new sea wall. And then obviously it can be added to and little bits added over a period of time. So can you see him now? There he is, look. Right at the end of the groin there. So we'll just walk a little bit further and then I'll zoom in and show you the front. There he is. You ready? Our big fat friend sat at the end of his rocks. It actually looks quite clean. I think they cleaned him last year. So you can see the difference in colour between him and the stone groin. Is usually that colour, is usually green. So that's that. If you look at the Visit Cleveleys website, there are pages on there about all of the different sculptures, which is quite interesting because we've kept looking at Mary's shell and the base of it, but on the Visit Cleveleys website you can actually see the full process of how they actually installed it and put it in. It's quite interesting really, because there's a line of us all sat on these steps watching while they pushed and pulled and tugged and moved it, and then eventually they got it into position. It wasn't a day like today though, I can tell you. It was cold cold and grey and dreary. So that's Mary's shell. So Mary's shell is near the cafe. In fact, to tell you what we'll do, we'll go this way and I'll show you where we are on the road, and then if you want to come and have a look after lockdown, you know what you're heading for. So these are the floodgates that can be closed when the tide conditions are bad, because it does come right up to there. I mean, it's hard to believe on a day like this, but it does. So this is the little car park at North Promenade, pay and display, and that's the long stay car park over there at Jubilee Gardens. That's the venue. We're so glad when that's open again. Obviously the cafe, and then down there is Russell Promenade and Russell Beach. So just to orientate you, that way is Cleveleys. So where we've come from, the Sea Swallow, is down there. So this is the beautiful Cleveleys Seafront, complete with artworks, complete with everything that you could ever wish for, but not at the moment. The toilets are shut, the pubs are shut, the cafes are shut. So there's not really much to bother coming for at the moment. So if you do live a distance away, you'd be better just stopping at home on your sofa with your feet up and a cup of tea and watch these videos instead. It will certainly be here when you want to come back. And the sea's beautiful, the sky's lovely, and all's well with the world. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get enough subscribers to be able to monetize our channel and actually earn some money, and the more that we can manage to do that, the more videos that we'll be able to come out and make for you. Share it with your friends and you'll have a nice day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.